One Star Rewind.
All right, world, Waco, who's ever listening, we are back with another episode of One Star Rewind. I have Sara here with me, but before we dive in, we're gonna talk about a little bit of our sponsors, the boring part. We're always brought to you by Rogue Media Network. We do all the podcasts. Come listen to us, this one and all the other ones. And then we're also brought to you by Waco Escape Rooms. If you want to come play an escape room, we're here on Washington on a two-way street now. So there you go. You can come play. Sara, thank you so much. We've known each other. I mean, when did we move down here? Like 2016 or 17?
Well, that was it took a while, but we started maybe in 16.
16.
Moved in 17.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a journey there with the build out. But yes, we have been neighbor friends, partner friends.
Yeah.
We're just right here next to each other. Really, before there was anything much
we're the OG
going on, Wildland and Gathering Waco Escape Room. So now all the people want to join us.
Yeah, it should be.
As it should be. They want to be with all the cool people. So before we dive in, tell us a little bit about Sara and Jonathan too, your husband.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about the two of you. You know, where you were from, when you were born, all the good stuff. No, and then after that, tell us kind of how Gather got started.
Sure.
Black Oak Art. Kind of give us that, and then we'll dive in.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So my name is Sara. And I'm originally from Houston.
Okay.
Grew up in Houston, lived there through high school, came to Baylor
Cool.
in 1997.
Okay. What part of Houston did you grow up in?
Grew up mainly in Alief, which is like Southwest Houston.
Okay.
It kind of grew rough around us.
Sure.
My parents had moved there when it was like in the kind of the suburbs, and then it grew up to inner city-ish.
Okay.
So then come high school, we actually moved the opposite, and we went to the super suburbs of Kingwood, and that's where I went to high school. So
Okay.
I kind of went from like a really urban through middle school to
Sure.
super white suburban,
Yes. Yeah.
just for,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my wife grew up in the Woodlands, so
similar.
Yeah, so similar.
Same development.
Well, that's why I always ask. Like before, being from Oregon and then coming to Waco to go to Baylor, like I had no concept of like, oh, you're from Dallas. Okay, cool. And then they're like, well, really, I'm from.
Dallas is worse than Houston.
They're way
It's
worse.
All these little
things.
Yeah.
So in Houston, because it's so big,
Yeah.
I think I've used to just say, oh, you're from Houston.
Yeah.
And then I realized, but you could grown up in Pearland.
Right.
Or
So
grow
I
up
feel
in
like I'm
somewhere
from
else.
Houston proper.
Yeah,
for
cool.
sure. But high school was spent, and then now my mom's back in actual Houston. So
great.
I feel like I can really claim Houston.
Cool. Okay, so from Houston, grew up there.
Came to
go to Baylor.
Baylor, and studied special education.
Great.
Graduated with a degree in special ed, taught for 1 year.
Okay.
But really the whole time, all I really wanted to do actually was go overseas and be a missionary.
Cool.
I was super involved with Antioch.
Yeah.
But even pre-college, it's kind of what I always really wanted to do. I love other cultures. I love Jesus.
Yes.
So
That's a key one.
But I also really just, not even just, typical missionary stuff. I really love engaging with other cultures. I love just like immersing myself in those situations and really like learning from people. I think that's almost what I love. It's as much.
Totally. And it's crazy just in our life, and we just get in these ruts and patterns, and 5 years go by and we're just so used to what we do.
Yeah.
And then you go somewhere else and just get a glimpse into how something else operates and works.
Spend a second with like any other culture, whether it doesn't even have to be poor, but any other culture, but especially like poorer cultures, it's so perspective changing in a way that is, I wish like every single person could like spend a year in like a poorer country, so.
Yeah.
So I ended up I went through Antioch's training program, and I did go to Beirut for 2 years with the church planting team there.
Okay.
Mainly spent 2 years learning the language because, I mean, it's like, completely different alphabet and all that.
Oh, sure.
So.
I mean, I hear Beirut and I think of like bombs. I think of...
I was probably there in one of the better times of Beirut, which have been very short in the last 50 years.
Okay.
Though towards the end of my time, like there was like a huge bombing like miles from where we lived.
That's nuts.
And I don't think anybody was killed in it, but then it started the downward of it getting dangerous again.
Okay.
But I left before it was dangerous. But that was the fascinating thing about living there, not to get on a tangent, but that most people we met grew up in a very tumultuous.
Yeah.
But it's gorgeous. It's almost like LA. Like people brag that you can go to the beach and the mountains in the same day.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because it's on the coast,
That's
but there
cool.
are mountains. I mean, it's gorgeous. The
wow.
people are fantastic.
Yeah.
And so I loved it. Yeah,
And
loved it so
there
much.
for 2 years.
2 years.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Jonathan and I are dating like super long distance.
Oh, wow.
I am, pre FaceTime,
Yeah.
even good internet. I had to go to internet cafe to send an email and then wait 24 hours to like get the response.
Get a response
Yeah.
back.
At one point, he's like, "We should write letters." I was like, "We won't talk, whatever, once a month."
Yeah, totally.
So,
oh my gosh.
but we ended up falling in love through that process.
That's
He
cool.
actually came to visit,
Nice.
for a bit, and
Cool.
we moved back and got married.
Great.
In 2005.
Oh, cool.
So, and then we actually ended up moving to LA to
Yeah.
do more church work with Antioch in LA area.
Oh, cool.
Jonathan's from Southern California.
Okay.
He had come to Baylor about the same time as me.
Gotcha.
And so we were in LA for a couple years, and that didn't go as we thought.
Sure.
Just, ministry and people and all that. But we did love being there. We had our first son there.
Oh, cool.
But then when he was just 4 months old, we ended up moving back to Waco, kind of for a lack of like, our parents were in completely different places, like across the country, but that we didn't still have friends in those places, but we did still have people that had stayed in Waco.
And what about time?
And at the time, there's nothing to do here.
Oh,
I don't know
sure.
why they stayed.
Because that would have been what, like end of the 2010 or
207.
207. Yeah, okay. I was trying to think
that's
how
not
to
a year. 207. 2007.
One of those
I love
years.
that you agreed with me. You're like, yes,
I
207.
knew. Well, you even at least gave it something. I didn't even know what to call it. I was like the end of the 2000s.
When
I
you
guess.
ask me like the years of everything,
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, they blend together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2007. So I mean, really nothing.
Still,
was.
yeah.
Ghost town down here, downtown, and it was a little bit depressing to be honest, especially coming from LA. We lived in like West LA, like it was gorgeous, and the weather was perfect.
Oh
and
my gosh,
the culture and the food, and like all the stuff to do, and.
You come here to Waco, you're like, oh yeah, Waco's a small town.
It was a little depressing for a little
Sure.
bit, though we had a lot of good friends, so that's really what kept us here.
Yeah, I think that's what brought me back after grad school. So undergrad, grad school at Baylor, and then went back to Portland, and it really was just having. A church here, like friends, and it just was that community. It was always the people.
Because that's the thing. At the end of the day, I mean, the most gorgeous place on earth. I mean, it's awesome, but like, right? It's about like the people you're with.
Oh,
and,
it's totally about the people, and even like and you grow up places, and then 20 years go by, and it's like, oh, this isn't the same place where you grew up, or it doesn't.
Yeah, the same people aren't there.
Yeah, the same people, and so you kind of just you make those relationships.
Yeah,
and that's what carries
exactly.
it, so yeah.
And then it turned to be. I mean, it took a few years, and I was in the throes. So then we had. I mean, we had 3 kids every 2 years, right around there. So I mean, then I'm just.
Then you're here
raising.
Yeah.
And I mean. Such a better place to raise a family than LA.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Even just the convenience, the cost, but even just the community of people raising their kids young. Yeah. Because in LA, it's just such a different environment.
Sure.
Because to even afford to be there and raise your kids, you have to. It's different.
I bet much different. Yeah.
And so
then what got? So I know Jonathan was doing the pottery, or what's the right way to say it?
Yeah. I yes. Pottery.
He was throwing clay.
He's making pottery.
Yeah.
I mean, a potter, ceramicist. I don't know. It all sounds
He said it to me before, and I forget what it was.
It's weird. Yeah. I mean, you can call him a potter. You can call him a ceramicist. That one seems too fancy, but. So he majored in art at Baylor.
Okay, yep.
And his emphasis was in ceramics, but he kind of did everything when he was at Baylor. But that's really what he loved and why he did it.
Yeah.
And so, and before we got married, when he didn't need to make money, much money, he would throw in his house and have little sales. And he actually went around town and sold pots to like the old Rose Tree florist. That's actually where Silo's Baking Co. is now. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
So they were in that little building. The whole rest of the Silos was vacant.
But they had that little spot there.
Because it's an adorable
building.
Which is, I think what Joanna first looked at too was just the little cute
that little thing.
And then they're like, no, you got to take the whole thing.
You need these big Silos.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Which they did.
Yeah.
But so he would kind of just sell to businesses like on consignment that would take them, but and he did that. And then I think when we got serious and he realized I'm gonna have to buy a ring and get married, he started managing at Starbucks, and then that led into managing a coffee shop in McGregor called Texas Tea and Coffee.
It
was around for maybe 3 to 5 years.
I know there's a place in McGregor that's just like the coffee shop or something.
Yeah, no, that's like the coffee shop.
The coffee
that's
shop.
like a diner.
Yeah.
This was more, it was adorable, actually. It was like local, cute, more like an actual coffee shop.
Okay.
And I think there's something in that building today, but I'm not sure. It was right off Main Street.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was really cute.
Yeah.
Some lawyers in town owned it, and it was kind of like, I think, a fun pet project of theirs.
Sure. It was a little coffee shop.
And so that's kind of what he was doing, but always we had a studio in the back house or in the garage, and he was always doing it on the side, either just for himself or we'd have like a Christmas sale once a year for friends and family to buy eclectic random mugs, you know.
Definitely.
Mainly because I was like, we can't have any more in the house. You know?
Get these out of here.
But even that was difficult because I'm like, your work. And then at some point he transitioned to teaching. He taught art at University High School.
Oh, cool.
Well, actually, the old AJ Moore.
Okay.
Then got absorbed into university.
Oh, very cool. I don't think I knew that.
And then he kind of added like graphic design. I mean, honestly, he's really great at pretty much anything he decides to do.
Yes,
you know, he kind of ended up doing all kinds of stuff at university.
Awesome. Okay.
But so that kind of took us to, I don't know what year.
One of those years, somewhere like early.
Maybe around 2010.
2011, somewhere in there. Okay.
And about that time, Jill Mashburn, who used to, or sorry.
Yeah.
That's her maiden name.
Barrett.
It's so hard. Yeah. When you like know all the people
someone
from
as
college.
a person. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, Jill.
Yeah.
Original owner of Common Grounds.
Yeah. Okay.
So she came to one of those home sales at our house to buy some mugs. And she's like, I would really like to replace, you know, our screen printed generic mugs with handmade mugs.
Sure.
And so Jonathan's like, I've been experimenting with putting logos in a cool way on the side of a mug, and thus birthed the logo mug that is like our primary product.
Oh my gosh, so good.
And so they were our first client in town, but quickly, like other small places like Bear Mountain, when they had just started, they carried one.
Cool.
And then Joanna, Jonathan knew Joanna from college, Joanna Gaines.
Yeah.
And our kids were in preschool together at the time.
Cool.
And so we would run into each other occasionally.
Yeah.
And when they were just flipping houses, they weren't famous, they didn't have a TV show.
Yeah.
They would give the mugs with that magnolia, the white, the one that's like known now.
Okay.
The little kind of like funky little letters.
Yeah.
They'd give that to clients when they flipped a home.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Just like as a home
like 20
housewarming gift. Yeah.
Like,
nothing crazy.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Maybe 50 a year. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then so fast forward to whenever Fixer Upper got launched. Maybe that was 13 or 14.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I lose track of time.
Yeah.
But she kind of came back and said, are you still doing those? We're going to reopen the little shop on Bosque, and maybe a logoed thing would sell.
Yeah.
Like, really, I think she kind of, I remember
Really
her saying that.
downplayed
Like,
it.
who wants to buy something that says Magnolia? I can't imagine it, but they tell me that
But just
maybe.
in case. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, with real honest humility, of course. And so we actually didn't, we had just moved. We didn't have a studio set up because you have to have a specific electricity and all that. We hadn't done all that.
Yeah.
And so Jonathan, having the foresight to just not say no, was like, sure, you know. And I think the first order was like 50.
Yeah.
And even that, to get 50 up and going. And I actually think he went into Praetorian when they had an artist space.
Okay. Yep.
And they allowed us to put the kilns in the basement there.
Oh, cool.
Peter
Yes.
and Summer.
Yeah.
And he kind of worked out of there. And that just, I mean, the story goes.
As the story goes,
Pilot gets picked up.
Sure.
It's, you know.
50 mugs turns into 1,000 mugs.
Exactly.
And,
50 a month, 50 a week, to then 100 a week, to then by the end of those, the first season and into that second one.
Sure.
Yeah, we're up to like, 1,000, 2,000 a week of one mug.
It has to be, and I know they probably keep track. Maybe you even know this. It has to be the most bought, like, Magnolia item.
Yeah,
of all time, right?
I don't say this to say they do it on purpose, but I'm not sure they would tell
No,
us
they know.
true.
They have.
For sure, for a long time, I don't know now, but definitely for those first, when Fixer Upper was airing, I think it was their top 5 for sure.
Dude, I bet you it's
for
on the
those
Mount
first
Rushmore.
2 to 3 seasons, she drank out of it.
Oh,
on the show.
On the
so I mean, that
yeah.
even more like and not even purposefully, like you know, I mean,
And
so
Jonathan got to be on some episodes.
Yeah,
right?
And then Jonathan was on 3 different seasons.
Yeah.
And fast forward to what we'll talk about later.
Sure.
Kind of the emphasis of.
Yeah, I know. I was whenever
it's like, oh wait, a product we sell in our store now is on TV. Nobody can anticipate. The national that what that is. No, we thought we could anticipate it, and we could not.
It's still it's just like just
like Magnolia. I mean, everybody to grow at that speed, you can't really know what that national exposure will do for you. I mean, it's marketing we could not afford.
Yeah, right. A 5-year period, 7-year period, whatever you want to call it, with like a pandemic in the middle or towards the end of it, I guess. But still, just like going from that many people to all the people that come here to go do it and that are buying these products is like it must just be nuts.
Yeah.
Just astronomical.
Yeah.
So, well, okay. So then Gather opened.
Yeah. 2017.
When did Gather open? 2017.
So October 2017. So that was kind of, in those first few years of, us growing. So of course, Jonathan within a year has quit his job and is doing it full time and has other people, because he can't make that many mugs himself.
Yeah, for sure.
And kind of in that process, that next 2 year was such just steep growth, but also a lot of up and downs of just for Magnolia and for us. In a lot of ways, we were just doing it together with them at a larger scale than us, of course, but just trying to how do you even predict? How do they predict what to order? And so then that creates ups and downs. And we did too much. Wait, we didn't do enough. And then that's difficult. We create a handmade product that takes an amount of time. Oh my gosh! No matter what, because it's the pottery process. It cannot be rushed.
For sure.
And so just predicting, and then of course takes money to scale up. I mean, electrical, the supplies, the staffing.
Oh my word, yeah.
And,
I mean, everyone thinks, or that's not in this world of like, oh, I got this big purchase order.
Right.
Oh, great. You know how much that takes to actually fulfill that order.
And that's the thing. If we had to take out an emergency loan. I mean, you can't actually grow without money.
No, yeah.
Weird
how that works.
And even though you have a purchase order that they might pay in 6 months, you have to start paying for those things
for sure
before you get that money. And so multiple times it has almost, like if we, but by the grace of God and really smart business people to help us either loan us money or whatever. I mean, bankers. You couldn't do it, and total the grace of Magnolia as well to really like work with us to say, yes, we'll guarantee these and all. I mean, a lot of things went into it.
Let's go.
But one of those things that is like, we have to diversify. All of our eggs are in Magnolia baskets, not only because we really wanted it, but the volume is so high. How do we even grow to include other people? And we did have a few. I mean, Common Grounds was still going, and we did have some other small wholesale accounts. But one of those was, what if we sold directly to customers? I mean, it's the best for us because we are making it and selling it.
For sure.
So with wholesale, you can only mark up so much because they have to then mark it up.
Exactly.
But all of a sudden we get the retail price of something we make.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the start of that conversation, driving around downtown. And I kind of said, and I had been doing wedding planning up until that point. I owned a business here that I did kind of like high-end custom full service wedding design and planning. It was fun. I did about 12 a year.
Nice. I don't think I knew that, Sarah.
I mean, it's random. It was pre all of this. So, but I really had a love for entertaining, for hosting. So that was kind of like, well, if I'm going to open, obviously we're going to open a retail store. I'm going to run it. He's running production studio.
Yeah.
And so I was like, but I don't really want to just sell pottery, no offense, because I want to
do some
offer
other things.
Yeah. So it's like, but I love entertaining, and I see a gap in Waco of things that you could get, especially then, but even now, like
for sure.
There's so many products that are not available here that you can get in Austin and Dallas and whatever. And so that was kind of the birthplace of Gather, is things to complement the pottery. It's still our centerpiece. It's still what we're mostly about. Signature line of dishware. Yeah. But everything else, barware, flower.
I like how the wedding planning, like, because we had our wedding, for my wedding with my wife, or with me, just me. No, my wife was included. But yeah, I mean, our plates and mugs and bowls, I mean, we use them every day, and they were from Gather. I mean, so I like how the pottery can kind of meet this wedding world and kind of come together.
Yeah, because we have the registry, so that's really fun.
But the shop is awesome over here again on Washington. Okay. We could probably talk for 5 hours. I think I always use 5 as my number. We could 10 hours. We're going to take a quick break.
All right.
And then we're going to come back, and then we're going to read their review. Okay.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, this is Sara,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and
vinyl.
So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
All right, Sarah, we're back.
All
We're
right.
back from break. We're going to go into the review.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So this review was left by Melissa. We say the name. It's on Yelp.
Yeah, sure.
This
She
is
posted it. Yeah.
public information.
Yeah.
I did a tiny little bit of research on Melissa J.
I probably did back in the day too.
It's okay. This was 3 years ago, so it was a while back.
It was a while back, yeah.
She's left at this point in her career, of her Yelp review career, she's left 6 Yelp reviews
Okay, not a
across
lot.
these different. Mostly they were like service-based places.
Okay.
It's a mixed bag. She's left 3 1-stars and 3 5-stars.
Okay, well, she's all or
So
nothing.
Melissa,
Yeah. That's all right.
she
That's
either
all right.
loves you or hates you.
Yep.
So a lot of the pattern of the reviews was kind of interesting. It was like the same cadence and how like she left the review as far as like grammar and how she starts them, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting. It almost felt kind of robotic, but
Yeah.
I
But
don't
maybe
know.
that's just like when she's frustrated.
Yeah,
That's how
that's
she
how
acts.
she
Yeah,
does
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It always starts
Which is
off,
fair,
like awesome place or horrible place
Yeah,
or
yeah.
wonderful place. Like that's always how it started. So okay, this is Melissa 3 years ago. This was in regards to her experience with Gather, right? So not Black
Yeah.
Oak, because the studio
Right.
studio space
it's
opens.
a piece that we. Yes. Of course.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
through Gather.
Gather. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. We're gonna read it line by line.
All right.
But first, I'm gonna do my rewind.
long one, yeah.
It is. It's good. We've read pages before.
Oh, okay.
All right, Sarah. Here's my rewind noise. You ready? Okay, we're going back in time. It's like a VHS tape.
awesome.
It is brought to you by Rocket Video. It was an old video store
Oh.
here in Robinson. Yeah.
I
Did
can
you know
picture
about it?
I mean, I can kind of picture it, but maybe it's just that every town had that.
Sure. Well, there were
Video
so there was
store.
Campus Video, Rocket Video, and like Leopard Video. But it was the same owner.
I was Baylor though at that time, so I definitely would have gone to like Blockbuster.
You would have been a Blockbuster. Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, here we go. Melissa said, "Absolutely horrible. I ordered custom dishes on June 10th, 2018. It now late February, and the set is still not complete. They have sent defective pieces that didn't pass their own quality control. How do I know? Question mark. There are labels on the items stating as much. It was supposed to take 120 days at most, and now it's been almost 240 days. Best part? Question mark. They took over 1,200 from me in June and basically won't respond to emails, phone calls, etc. When Sarah, sitting right here, first responded...
Spelled incorrectly.
Spelled incorrectly. Don't put that H on there. Responded, she blamed it on being a new company. What kind of company, new or old, doesn't know they can't fulfill an order for over 8 months and takes your money? Luckily for me, I used a credit card and they've back charged out. I will return the items and I have when I passed through Waco on February 2nd, 2019. That's my birthday.
Well,
Whoa.
it didn't happen. So.
I didn't use them waiting for all the dishes to arrive. They are still in their original packaging. The personal stamp mark they used is faded out on several pieces. I have flat platter type plates and I think 3 that are usable. The place is just horrible. Do not buy from these people. They keep your money and send substandard work they acknowledge is substandard, yet they don't correct it.
Lovely.
End of review. Wow.
Like,
Melissa,
it still, like, gives me anxiety.
Even 3 years later.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, and I didn't preface this before. Like, everybody we have on, and it's not like the businesses I reach out to or whatever, like, you guys are so incredible. Like, there are so many 5-star reviews. We always pick out just these random ones.
Sure, yeah.
I know.
No,
I know
I feel good
it's
about it.
cringy to read them, but that's where we're at. So, okay, Sarah, what happened? Dude?
Yeah,
What-
sure. I mean, gosh. So I had to, I mean, because this is a long time ago. This is over 3 years ago, because 2018, right?
It is. Yeah, it says over. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over
So I had to go back. I looked at I mean, I do remember a lot of it, because it was, so, I mean, as you can imagine, I emailed her over the course of
Yes.
this entire time,
Yes.
frequently.
Yeah.
And so,
She talks about your emails.
contrary to her
Well,
saying
no,
you
she
didn't
says
respond.
she says
but-
you didn't respond, but yet she mentions how many times you
Right.
said stuff. So
So I mean, okay, a little bit of backstory, just really
Yeah,
fast.
backstory.
January 2018,
Mm-hmm.
Fixer Upper episode airs, and this is the height of Fixer Upper, like that, like maybe the fifth, like the second to last season, like the height of
Gotcha.
the.
Sure.
They are
Yeah.
king of queen of all the HATV.
Yes.
And so episode airs where Jonathan's on the show. Joanna asked him to make a set of custom dishware that says the Baker family's name on it.
Okay.
And he makes it and delivers it to their house, and it's displayed gorgeously on the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And these are dishes that we already made. Actually, we had made for Joanna herself and
Sure.
other people in town to have at their houses, whatever.
Okay.
But this was the first product that had been on an episode that we sold. Every other product was something we made for them.
Yeah.
Or we didn't make it at all. It was just made for an episode.
Okay.
So we knew it was coming, obviously. So we had prepared to sell it online because we had not offered it widely before. It was more just word of mouth. If you knew, you could
Gotcha.
ask.
So
Before we just sold the plates without the names.
Got you.
Well, and the store had just opened.
Yeah, you had just
In
got
October.
Yeah, sure.
So I mean, we were already just new, and
Yeah.
we sold just the dishes off the shelf.
Yes.
But this was like, we knew we could do it. We had done it.
Yeah.
And we thought,
But now the world is gonna know.
yeah,
that
and
you
I
can
mean,
do it.
we got on, we listed online. You could choose from 4 colors, certain plates, very much the same as it is today. You can choose your name, one font. You can have an established date or not. I mean,
Sure.
it's very simple, really, but it's exactly what's on the show. And we put on it at the time, I think it was like 12-week turnaround. We thought, because they take, if you're just doing them, they take 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Gotcha.
I mean, if one person was doing them, they could take a couple weeks. But
Yeah.
the way it has to go and whatever.
Sure.
And so we're like, we'll give ourselves 12 weeks.
Yeah. Just to give ourselves some buffer
Good
here.
Lord.
Yeah.
But I mean, literally
Yeah.
hundreds of people start ordering immediately.
Oh gosh.
And we're also, meanwhile, still making everything that we're normally making. This is not like the only thing we make.
Yeah.
And so quite quickly we realize, so we lengthened the timeline to 20 weeks almost immediately, because we're like, just to get, because even if it doesn't matter at this point, you're waiting in line just for your turn, let alone.
I'm picturing this like first email or notification, like, yeah. And then the second one, you're like, yeah.
No, we're sitting
And then
there
it's
watching the show with friends. And the funny thing is, I was getting so excited, and Jonathan just keeps getting quieter and quieter because he's like, crap.
Oh man.
And at the time, plates are so difficult. We made plates completely without this thing called a jigger, which kind of makes them more uniform.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she referenced the flat plate. To get a plate uniform is difficult. And then you're talking about people who saw something on a TV show and are buying handmade products sight unseen. They've never touched our product, so they have no idea.
They have no idea.
The quality.
Yeah.
Which is awesome in one way, but
Yeah.
they are handmade.
Yeah.
They are not from Target. They are not from China.
Yeah.
They are literally each one made by hand.
Yeah. We have seen the artists when you walk
Yeah,
in,
exactly.
they're making it. I like, some of our plates are not like all the same.
And they're not.
But I like that. No,
And-
I think that's actually.
And if you were to read the
selling
website, even
point.
at the time, though I have added
Yeah.
more now because we've learned, I mean,
Yeah.
there are disclaimers out the
Sure.
wazoo. Now, does everyone read those? No, but I mean,
No.
they talk about the variations.
Yeah.
And right.
I
Okay.
think that's cool. Okay.
Yes,
well, I don't
right. But, so you're
Whatever.
just talking about someone saw a TV show and clicked. And now she did. She mentioned she spent $1,200, and it's
Sure.
roughly correct to what she spent.
How many,
a
like-
lot of money.
How many plates?
So I think it's like,
that like-
10 dinner plates, 10 salad plates, maybe
Yeah.
like a couple serving pieces
get
and
like-
some bowls.
okay, you get like the
it's
set.
a lot. She
Yeah.
got yes, I agree with her. She
Sure.
was right. It's a lot of money. And the other hard thing about this product is it's custom.
Sure.
And the name goes on in like the first 2 days of making the piece because it has to go on the raw clay. So we have to take money up front.
Yeah.
Because they're literally unsellable to anybody else immediately.
Unless you find that very specific family that wants these plates.
You're not happy with it, return it. We refund you. No questions asked if it's like in perfect condition, you know? So, I mean, but that is not possible. We cannot resell this. It is custom, which is the same of every other custom product you buy in the world.
Yes.
You have to pay up front.
You do.
And
you're right.
Because it's custom and it's unreturnable. However, okay, so fast forward, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
She orders them. That's why she ordered them, I'm assuming.
June 10th, she orders these things, right?
So 6 months into this insane, we are like insane trying to get these plates out.
Okay.
Okay, so starting, so they were supposed to, it was 20-week turnaround when she ordered. I went and verified that was the case. It's now shorter a little bit.
A little bit.
So that would have been like middle of October. She should have, that would have been the promised time. So starting though in like August, September, she's checking in, which is also normal. It's a long time to wait for a product you paid a lot of money for. So we're fine with people checking in. Yeah. We had hired customer service people. We had 2 people on staff fielding the emails. I also helped whenever it was whatever. Yeah. We started, and at the time, and still to this day, we send things as they're ready. I'm sure like your plates. You don't get them all at once because we know it takes a while, and sometimes the plates take longer than the bowls. Yeah. And so when a box is big enough to ship a full box, we ship it. Yeah. So she started receiving her pieces actually in September, not late. Now, she did not receive all of them on time, but she did receive probably at least half of her pieces, if not everything but the plates, because the plates took the longest.
Plates takes longer,
She started receiving them in August, September. So actually,
so not too
we
bad.
did decent.
July, August, September,
but immediately, she did not like anything she got. Okay. So she starts, so there is a long history of this stamp's not that legible. This plate's slightly flatter than this plate. So, and I really love the example of the companies who just like, what is it, like Land's End and North, like people that have just this amazing, we're going to make it right. Well, and so and still to this day, for the most part, if you don't like it, even if I'm like, it looks great to me, like it really seems within the realm of what's acceptable as a handmade product. If you really don't like it, I'll remake it. I might say it might not be different next time, but we'll remake it. And so that's what began the remake process for her.
And like and I know this was 2019, but like to fast forward to like you're buying something on Amazon, if you will, and they're, the volume globally that they're at, it's just like, it was probably cheaper for them to say, you know what, you keep it, we'll mail you a new one. And so people are like, well, that's what Amazon does. And then you go. And
actually, in this case, that is what we do because it's custom. So actually, we never took anything of hers back and told her not to send it back.
Yeah, you just say, just take it because what are we going to do with it?
It costs more to ship it. That's silly.
But like, give us a minute to get this new product back to you. This isn't like you have,
and it has to go back and be remade.
5,000 people just making plates all the time.
And I'm not going to make it extra unless I need it.
Exactly.
And so so starting in September, whenever she first received her products, basically starts this remake process over and over again.
Oh man.
So and then that process was a mess for us. Now, so to her, yes, she is right, and it was probably a lot of like. And also, I noticed in the emails, I totally cringe. We like one person, like customer service person left.
Yeah. Okay.
And this new one took over. So she also suffered through a switch of names.
Yes.
And then sometimes I'm answering and they don't know what they're doing. And so yes, she lived through all that. And we're trying to balance that, like, just make it right, not apologize too much, but also be like, so I'm sure people did say like, thank you for being patient with us, in which she refers to like blaming it on being a new company.
Sure.
Well, like, but at some point you just don't know what else to do other than like plead for mercy. Like,
and it's like, but you are new. What kind of company, new or old, doesn't know they can't fulfill that?
I would argue every new company.
Every new company.
I would argue every new company does not know, especially faced with such high growth.
Oh my goodness.
And the thing is, that show just kept re-airing every week, right? Like it's on syndication, and I could tell. We're at church. I'm like, it just aired. My phone's blowing up with the notifications of sales. So, I mean, it's not like that show happened, orders came in, and then we're fulfilling them. And we're ramping up to Christmas. Yeah. So they just increase. They don't decrease, especially in the fall of 2018.
For sure.
Because we're getting ready for Christmas. And to this day, the orders start. I mean, our deadline tells you on our website right now, order by August 25th, or we can't get you your plates
by Christmas. Sure.
Because we know it's going to be so full.
Yeah.
And so,
but that's the advantage now, because this again was 4 years ago,
Right.
over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now you get the rhythm down.
Sure.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Back then it was like,
and we have systems for all of this.
Yes.
And I mean, so the damage system was our biggest weakness, which was if something was damaged, either we caught it
Yeah.
because it's a handmade product. It didn't the fire correctly. It cracked
Mm-hmm.
in the last glazing. The stamp came out muddled, or they didn't pass QA because they were too flat or curved or whatever the issue is.
Yeah.
Then we had to send it back.
Okay.
And so we try to plan so that can still happen within the window. But
Yeah.
I mean, at this time, it was not.
Yeah.
And then that's when we catch it. But
Sure.
she got it. It got shipped to her.
Yeah.
She catches
She
it.
caught
And
it.
now it has to, and we don't make it take the whole time, of course.
Yeah.
But the system to get those people to cut in front and line, it just was a mess, basically.
Yo, for sure.
So, and also there is that, like, some of these we actually think like we could remake these 100 times and they might still look like this
Yeah.
because it's a handmade plate.
Yeah.
And so some of it's like, gosh, how much is this? Like at some point I did, even in an email communication between us, I was like, oh, I don't think we can ever, even if we give her what we consider a perfect set.
Sure.
At this point, it
Yeah.
feels like she's decided.
Yeah.
And we will never
gonna
appease her at
yeah.
this point. So at some point, our policy, and still to this day,
Yeah.
well, do I want to say this on this podcast? But for the most part, if we are over our line, I mean, we
Yeah.
always offer something, but at the
Sure.
time, it was like, no question, we just
Yeah.
issued a 20% refund.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
we were over, which we did.
Yeah.
And I have proof of it.
Yeah.
We issued the 20% refund
Okay.
as soon as they were over the 20 weeks.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm like, gosh, we're really trying here. And
Yeah.
no mention of that.
No mention of that. I was
yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
no mention of that on here.
And that was like in October.
Yeah.
And then we went back and forth to get her plates took a while. And so at some point in December, she told me, so she still doesn't have them in December. It has been a very long time.
Okay.
And we're just talking about like a final 9 salad plates and 5 dinner plates or something. She
Sure.
has everything else.
Yeah, everything else.
But it's a lot. I understand. And it's the part you actually use every day. Like, I get it. It's frustrating. But she does have plates.
Sure.
That are
She has some that are good.
Like, that people would buy to this day for full price
Okay.
and love because they're a hammy. And
Yes.
referring to these little stick. So what we would do at the time is if something didn't pass QA but
Yeah.
was, in our opinion, like I said, way good enough, like maybe a letter was smudged.
Yeah.
But like everything else was perfect.
Yeah.
We would send it to them and
Okay.
say, we are remaking this for you.
Yes.
We know it's not good, but look, you can use a plate.
Here
Because
is
we
a
felt
plate.
like at least you can use it.
Have something.
But she
yeah.
was, instead of being blessed by that, which most people were, and that was our intent, she was obviously offended by it.
Oh, man.
But we didn't leave it to
Yeah.
imagination. We had a really nice printed note that said,
Yeah.
these people, like, explained
Sure.
our heart behind it.
This is why
We
we're
thought-
sending this to you.
And most people
Yeah.
love that. Like,
Cool.
wait, we get an extra plate?
Oh
and like,
man, that's the
I would
world.
love it.
One
Like,
extra bowl or plate, you're like,
who cares if the letter's
jackpot.
smudged?
Yeah.
You're not paying for it.
Yeah.
We're replacing it
Sure.
for free. Like,
Sure.
we never said we weren't remaking
No.
them. It was just the remaking took a while, but she has her dishes
Yeah.
usable
Yeah.
during this whole time.
Well, so
I think by 20 weeks.
did she live in?
I don't
like,
know.
in
Not
Texas?
here. I don't
Well-
think so. They were all shipped, so I don't know where she
So
was.
okay, I'll return it.
I could find out, but
Talk
I'm
to me
not
about
going
one because it's my birthday. But talk to me about February 2nd.
Okay, which I don't think is true at all.
So there was never like an interaction.
I'm pretty sure. I wish Yelp doesn't give a date for when this was written.
Yeah.
But this was written in my memory, like maybe before that or right. Like I remember thinking like this isn't
okay.
even okay. So I went back to emails. So I have receipts. I went back to emails this morning and
Paper
read
trail?
them. And December 9th, I sent an email and said, well, you know, I apologized again and like these 9 plates you're waiting on they should be to you by this date. And she said she was not happy. She said all her things similar, whatever. And I understand. And I tried my best to validate everything she said that was correct.
Yeah.
And then said, okay, at this point, I am willing to give you until January 30th to get me all of my pieces before I do a chargeback or before I write you a scathing review, basically. She says this.
Oh, the
so
threatening email. Okay.
January 30th.
January 30th.
And so we're like, cool. And John then actually, I remember him being like, I just want to tell her, no, you can have all your money back. I don't want to even make these again because he knew
Yeah.
you're not going to be happy with the ones
Yeah.
you get by January 30th. You're not going to like them.
For sure.
Because at this point, there's not, even if
Yeah.
we give you perfect plates,
Yeah.
you're already so frustrated. And we should have. We
And,
probably
like,
should have just said,
Yeah. And
we'll cut our losses. We're done with you.
And talking about like the dollar amount, the amount of time that you've
Right.
had to spend on this, the two of you, the people that work
Oh.
for you, the
yeah.
clay.
Oh, we've already
It
lost
is
money.
like,
We already lost money.
Yeah.
And we've refunded. I mean, like, whatever. So and we've shipped multiple times, way beyond what she's paid for shipping, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
So I have the shipping, like we get, you know, we send a notification with the date stamp through our POS system that tells me when we shipped the last shipment. We shipped the last shipment January 18th.
January 18th,
So she
it was
received
shipped.
them.
Okay, she got them.
By the 22nd,
Yeah.
which was before
the 30th.
The 30th.
Deadline.
I'm pretty sure she issued
The
a
ransom
credit
date.
She issued a credit card chargeback like January 2nd. So before, or maybe not January 2nd, but before this was written, she'd already gone to her credit card, which is the worst because so for the entirety, not even the pieces we were remaking, everything we had already delivered that we were not remaking for the whole thing.
Gosh.
And the chargeback is the worst because they always side no matter what. I've had people issue a chargeback for a product they bought in the store, took home, and maybe it was an innocent mistake. They don't remember making the thing. They thought it was fraud. And I could prove to my POS company, it was an in-store product that they took home, and they still favored on their side. Wow. So it's basically I got completely sold. I lost the product. They had to take all the money, refund, and there's a charge for a chargeback to me, $20.
Oh my God.
So it is like completely stealing.
Totally.
Like
it is.
And who is that punishing? If someone did steal that, it's not punishing them. They got the product.
Yeah, now it's punishing the business.
It's not punishing like the bank even. It is only punishing me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so chargebacks are the worst and they take forever. So I sent like the chargeback thing because they allow you to send pictures. I uploaded everything. I showed where she had all the pieces. I showed email things saying we had agreed to January 30th and that we were still working on it. I showed when we sent it.
Jeez, you had all. It's like going to court and you have all the evidence.
Yeah, and still like it's not, whatever. And the thing,
Well, they sided. Did they? They sided with her?
It didn't actually go through until like February 15th, but they sided with her.
For the whole thing?
100%.
Wow, that's just unreal.
Unreal. So, and we didn't want the dishes back. What would we do with them? But she didn't return them. So, from my perspective, and maybe she hated them as much as she said. She said they were unusable and she hated, they weren't unusable.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't like the look of them. I can't say. And maybe I'm sure some of them probably were much more of a variation in quality than we even allow to this day because we have improved.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Franz, you are eating maybe daily on free plates, and then you left this.
And then you leave the parting shot.
In addition to getting all your money back, having us talk to you for 6 months back and forth, countless emails.
Oh my gosh.
And phone calls, I'm quite sure, because I know we called people when they were upset. And being refunded from us 20% way back in the day.
Yeah.
And us delivering 100% of the product before the whatever time.
Oh, well.
I still get this. And we didn't have Yelp. She created a Yelp for us.
Wait, okay, well, hold on.
Yes.
Wait,
because a lot of retail stores, people don't Yelp retail.
Especially in Waco, Yelp, you go to these bigger cities, whatever, but
a lot of food or services.
She made your Yelp account and
so
then
I didn't even
left
know about it. She sent me an email saying she would do this back in December.
Okay.
And then we delivered the dishes. What I'm assuming is she got them and was still unhappy with them.
Oh.
And then just went straight to chargeback and this without telling me anything. And a customer told me, a tourist came in and said, and actually it was so kind, they owned a small business in Hawaii.
Okay.
And she's like, I went on Yelp to find directions. She was using Yelp.
Sure.
She was probably just used to it. And she's like, did you know that you have a rough 1-star review? And I said, no. And I was kind of embarrassed, but she was so gracious. She's like, no, I own a small business in Hawaii. And I'm wondering if you've claimed your Yelp page. It doesn't look like you have. My advice is, and she's like, claim it and do whatever you want with the thing, but claim it, at least make it like your page and add pictures, make it look nice. And she's like, and you'll get better ones. And she's like, don't worry, it's happened to us too. So it was so kind the way she did it. But I did. And so then I really struggled and I even Googled how do you deal with 1-star reviews? And I just decided because I can refute, at the time I was like, I can prove that some of these things
didn't happen.
what's good? That's not good.
No.
It's not going to do any good.
I've seen I'm not sure how the reply system. I'd have to look on Yelp, but like on Google, they can leave the review. The owner or whoever manages the account can go and leave a reply, and that's supposed to be like the end of it.
Yeah.
Well, then what the reviewer will do is go edit their review and say like edit response to owner's reply on January whatever, and then they'll rebut whatever the owner said, and I've seen some of these chains where then they'll say edit from now this one, edit from, and you're just like, guys,
What do you have?
Let
do
it
you
go.
not have something else to
yeah,
do in
I do.
your
You know
life?
anything
Like,
better? Just let
I
it
do not have
go.
time to do that. What?
I know. And so that to go as far, wow, that Sarah, I've never heard that where they go make the account and then leave the 1-star just
and like had paid nothing and received everything.
Yeah.
And she might, and so yes, we messed up. We took longer. It was a mess going through multiple customer service reps. I can see where we messed up. Yes. And I can see that maybe some of the pieces were probably not like her favorite, but like in good conscience, I know what we made even then.
Yeah.
And so many people were loving it and ordering it.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just so frustrating.
That is crazy. So it's the January 30th like ransom note or whatever you have until this date.
Which we did.
Which you did.
Yeah.
And then still didn't matter. But then she said, I will come back through on the 2nd.
Yeah.
I wonder if she dropped anything off.
No. Never saw her, never heard from her.
Because she would have come in to gather.
Either way, we would have known. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, we were all very aware of her. No, because I would have had this whole box of useless dishes I would have had to throw away.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Dude, Melissa J.
Melissa J.
Wow. I think part of it, she got some time on her hands. I think to go through this kind of process, we talk about all these reviews. It's always like, caught them on a bad time that the expectations were just like crazy or
which is probably a lot of it.
But like understanding like new business, we're getting up and going. I understand the back and forth with customer service or the what did you call them, the rep,
like the staffing,
the staff. I mean I get those frustrations, but at the end of the day, like you have product already. I think you just sit back and just wait, and when you get them, you get them. Don't do this. Like, this isn't, gather, like, you guys do so much, right? As far as the product you're putting out and the quality of it, it's amazing. It's still not this, like, giant corporation where, like, you get a 1-star review and it's like, nah, whatever.
Right. You're making it for us.
Yeah, you are making it. Like, this matters. Someone from another state looked at this review.
Yeah.
And if that had been somebody else, they would have been like, well, we're not going to that store.
Of course.
Like, and then that.
Or if they're considering ordering this product, they're not going to order it. I mean,
I think the amount of effort that y'all tried to remedy this there should never have been a review. Like,
that's it. I think that's what was the most frustrating is that, and I think that's just the part I fought against is like, but why didn't you see our heart? Like, why didn't you see our intention? Like, issuing a refund and remaking it over and over again and like communicating and multiple people communicating with you over months and months. Like, it's just like, did we probably take longer than we could have to respond to some of her emails? I'm sure there were a lot. I'm sure there were times where she had to wait a week for a response.
Sure.
I'm sure. Especially at that time. Today, that is not true. We respond within 48 hours.
Pretty quick. There you go.
But at the time, for sure she waited probably longer than she should have sometimes to get a response.
So that's a good segue. So we'll kind of let's get to the end. We'll wrap this up. So always talking about how the review affects how you do business in a good way or does it or did it not or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that maybe not specifically from this review, but
for in general,
but like getting those practices where you are responding quicker or trying to be, I don't know, more like efficient in like the making of it, or did anything happen because of this specifically?
I think so. I mean, this and probably, it's not like she was the only person that she's the only person that ever went this far and did any of this. And that like got all of her product and paid nothing for it. We've never had that. But we've refunded like a lot of stuff for people, but because we are trying to own, our mistakes or whatever. And so I think, customer service, yes. Have we like tightened up a lot of production? Probably, but there are times, even like this year, where it's been harder because staffing is low. I mean, it's been hard to hire people.
Definitely.
And our timeline right now is 14 to 16 weeks turnaround, and some people are getting them at 18 weeks, but we literally couldn't make, like, we did not have people in the studio to make things this spring, and so we got behind, you know, and so, yes, and we're quickly catching up, but the difference is, we now, like, we try our you can get on and track your own
Cool.
on our website, so that helps a ton, because I think a lot of it is this feeling of like,
Oh.
who is this company? I just saw a TV show, I paid sight unseen, which is does maybe beg the question, maybe you should have looked into it more, but I mean, not to say that I know we were going to deliver, but I understand the insecurity that could make you feel,
for sure.
and then also, like, just you're just waiting for a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
And so I get that. So you can track it, or you can call us and we'll tell you, like, oh, it's in this point of production. And then also we try, if we know that it's going to be late, we try to, like, reach out before. We can't always do that because that's a lot of management. We can't really manage that all the time. But we definitely we respond within 24 hours, if not 48 at the max.
Okay.
So our customer service game is definitely, like,
So I'm picturing this. Is it like when you order a pizza? And it, like, you know, and it, like, tracks.
That's what we want, but that's going to require, like, paying someone, you know, to make something that
yeah.
we're not really willing to do.
Well, regardless, I think it's cool that they can
It's much
track.
more of a, like, Jonathan hacked something in Google Forms and hooked it up. But I mean, pretty
dude,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, like, if you go to FAQs and you say, like, where's my thing, you type in your order number and it tells you, like, it's assembled, and that means it's 4 to 6 weeks, or it's glazed, or it's...
That's awesome.
Or it was sent back for QA because it didn't pass, and it's being remade. And,
cool. That's cool.
So I
Sarah.
mean, hopefully that helped, and that was a large part, not just for her, but for this feeling of, like, I do get that feeling, and I would feel that way as a customer.
Well, and when something, like you said, is custom made, and it's going to take time. Even some cases, you might not forget because you don't want it, but just life and you're like, oh wait, I ordered those plates. Where are they at? And you can just go check. That's cool. Yeah. Okay.
And then, I mean, maybe the biggest thing from COVID has taught everybody grace to wait, because you have to wait for everything now.
You have to wait for everything. Supply chain.
So
all
in
this
so
stuff.
many ways, I don't know if it's because we've gotten better, which I think it is, but also I think people are more I mean, I'm waiting right now 6 months to get a stove to for my newly remodeled kitchen. So, and that is not being handmade. Well,
maybe it is. Maybe somewhere.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even the same thing. But people are a little more gracious right now. Which is nice.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So we rewound. We talked in the present. Talked some future. Final thing. I don't know if I want to be, but I get to be Melissa. I'm Melissa J. Is there any final thing you would like to say to me now that I'm in here in the studio with you?
I would really like to know if you ended up ever using the plates. It's okay if you throw them in the trash.
Yeah. Okay.
I would just really like to know, just my own personal, you know. Yeah. I mean, I think I definitely would like to validate, like, I think that was it was frustrating for me to live through it, and knowing I couldn't make things happen perfectly. Yeah. And so totally validate, like, your frustration. Okay. Because you should have been frustrated. You paid a lot of money. Sure. I wish you would have, like, assumed the best of us and not the worst. Assume that we were trying our hardest, because I feel like we were, and I felt like we tried really hard to communicate that by issuing a refund and remaking over and over. Yeah. We really tried, and then we did. You know, we did deliver in our agreed upon time, so I'm confused by when then you would still do these actions even though you got them before January 30th. Yeah. I would love to know why.
And did you come February 2nd through Waco?
Yeah, and then, you know, and, I mean, I could have said, like, please don't return them. We're not going to. It's likely that I sent an email that said that, because honestly, that is how I felt. Like, I'm not going to take these back. Please keep them. Please keep them. And so I hope you are using them. I hope that they, like, are a family heirloom and you love them.
I have my sneaky suspicions that I think these are used every day. And that's just how it goes. Yeah. And the quality are amazing. We literally, you know, we got married in 2019, so we used in the last 3 years, and they don't chip, they don't break. They're fantastic.
I mean, we eat. That's it. Like, I eat off of them at home, and I have 3 kids. Yeah. And yes, I mean, they break if you drop them.
Well,
but like, so much better than any other dish. Even the nice ones we registered from for Dillard's and
for sure.
2005. You know,
I bet they're used every day.
And if not, so sad.
I know.
You know,
use them.
Other people would have loved to have those. You know?
Oh my gosh, Sarah, this has been so enjoyable. You made me laugh. I think that's so funny. I can't believe they made a Yelp account for you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it has a lot of good reviews on it now.
That's cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.